Hello, this is Tim from Two Blokes from Blighty, and before we get into today's episode, first one of the new season, we're going to hear a little message from our friends over at BAP. Take it away, lads.
Hello, this is Sky and Jacka from the Biased Anime Podcast,
where we battle to crown our picks to be the winner of where we debate different animes, characters, films, and more to see which one is better.
Winner gets the glory, loser picks the next topic.
Who wins? We decide.
With some healthy banter and a sprinkling of actual reviews, this is BAP.
Biased Anime Podcast is completely biased, and listeners' opinions, while valuable, will not affect the outcome. Please drink responsibly.
I sent Pete a message the other day saying how furious I am with him because I've now started watching Solo Leveling.
Oh no! What? First of all, what do you think? Because I love it.
We'll get into it in the episode.
All right, cool.
Follow. We've got the best midfield in the world. McGinn, Kamara, Barkley, Onana, Yuri, and one of our own. Welcome back to Two Blokes from Blighty. I am Joey. I'm joined by the man that you heard before the advert, Tim, who is gay with glee.
Hey.
How you doing, Tim?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very, very well, thank you. Did you enjoy the lyrics for episode 1 of season? Are you ready for this, Tim? Season 10 of Two Blokes from
double
Blighty.
digits.
Double digits. By the end of this, so I counted out season 1 because we started doing the 10 episode seasons. We actually have 10 episodes in season 1 as well. So by the end of this season, we will have done 100 episodes of Two Blokes from Blighty.
That's amazing. Also, your lyrics, they were a football chant, right?
They were, because I'm still buzzing off of Villa absolutely spanking Newcastle.
It was a brutal game. I watched it with Payne's family while I was up in Newcastle. It was a bit of a slaughter.
It was good fun. And there was a lot of sob on the Tyne chat. Do you understand the sob on the Tyne stuff?
It's a reference to Fog on the Tyne, isn't it?
Well, it's when Newcastle first got relegated a number of years ago. The Villa fans in the Holt End unveiled a banner that said "Sob on the Tyne," and it's a reference to Fog on the Tyne. Then a few years later, when Villa and Newcastle got relegated, Newcastle showed some banner about "Where's your Messiah now?" taking the piss out of the fact that Villa fans called Paul McGrath God. And when they came back to Villa Park, there was a banner in the Holt End again that said "Anton Decker, your messiahs." So there's this weird little, non-rivalry that carries on between Newcastle and Villa, and I'm quite here for it for the shithousery.
That's fun, though. That's cool.
The shithousery. It's a weird non-rivalry, but it is a good fun one.
All right, cool. I love that sort of little jabs at each other kind of thing.
Yeah, it's good fun. But yes, Tim, we should start season 10 the same way that we start every other episode with our pub quiz question.
Pub quiz question of the week. Not a jingle, that's a sound effect at best.
What we have there is a fucking jingle, Tim.
Pub quiz of the week. As is the case every week, I'm going to go through several pub quiz questions until Joey can't get one, and that's our pub quiz question of the week. Sound good?
It's not taken very long in the past, so let's let's lower those expectations.
Great. So, question 1: who is credited with creating the painting the Mona Lisa?
Da Vinci.
That is correct. Which ancient wonder of the world was a monumental tomb built for an Egyptian pharaoh?
The pyramids.
Of?
Giza.
Yeah. What event?
Giza.
What event in 1066 was a Norman conquest of England?
The Battle of Hastings.
Damn right. Who was the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean in 1932?
I know her name. I know her name, but I'm not going to get it.
You know? Is that going to be our question?
Yeah, I think that's going to be our question.
All right, cool.
I know the name because I've spoken about this recently, and I think the only name that's coming to my mind is Marie Antoinette, and it's definitely not her.
No, it's not her. Not her.
There will be people who are screaming and saying, "How do you not remember?" The name is there; it's on the tip of my tongue. It's probably going to come to me midway through the episode, but for now, I'm sorry, Tim. I don't know it.
Feel free to blurt it out in the middle of the episode.
Just go.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, that's our pub quiz question of the week.
Nice, Tim. We're in season 10.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of these episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Between seasons, what changes?
It used to be Celebrity Guest, but then the budget ran out. So
The budget ran out with Ringo Starr, and he was a terrible guest.
terrible.
He was terrible. I really did like Dom Littlewood. He was good fun. And
Dom Littlewood
Sean,
turned into a mythical creature similar to that of the Jabberwocky.
and Sean Bean was actually 3 squirrels in a trench coat. That was
Quite the
strange.
expose.
It was quite the expose. Tim, we do keep one thing, though, and we like to do a day of the week for each of these episodes. But it's been a few weeks since we've done this. What day does this come out?
Oh, hang on. I know I've got a tight deadline to edit this one because we're recording this on Monday evening. Wednesday.
Wednesday, of course.
Tim and Joey talking loud. Holidays that make them proud. Calendar check every week. Which day holds the peak? Valentine's is on a pivot. Christmas Eve sometimes hits it. New Year's Eve can be found smiling on a Wednesday round. It is Wednesday, my dudes. Time to shake the mood. Celebrate whatever's there. Make the middle week a fair.
So it is Wednesday, the 23rd of April, Tim. Halfway through the week. We are nearly at the weekend. But there's some days I want you to think about celebrating for the 23rd of April. Does that sound good?
I'm feeling festive. Hit me with them.
Okay, good. So we're going to start off strong. National Talk Like Shakespeare Day.
I can get behind that.
Talk
I look
like
a bit like
Shakespeare.
him at the minute with my hair.
You do, Tim. Your hair is magnificent at the moment.
It's very long. I've been trying to get like the Witcher over the last few
It
days.
reminds me of Josh Scar. Have you seen his hair recently?
Oh, his hair's beautiful.
Oh, it's just fantastic. You should listen to Talking Smack. But while you do, picture Josh as the Greek god that he looks like.
The Adonis.
Tim, after National Talk Like Shakespeare Day, we've got National Picnic Day. Go
Okay.
have a fucking picnic.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
National Take a Chance Day.
Sure, taking a risk on something, I can get behind that as well.
Yeah. National Cherry Cheesecake Day.
Sound good.
Yeah.
That does sound really good.
It's strong so far, right?
This is great. When's
National-
downhill?
Well, National Lost Dog Awareness Day.
Oh, okay.
And then finally, we'll top off with National Administrative Professionals Day.
Jesus Christ, that is dull. All right.
Right, so where are you thinking?
I want to combine a bunch of them, but I know that's against the rules.
It is against the law, I'm afraid.
I'm going to go with picnic day. Fuck it, go have a picnic. Or at least
Go have a
plan
picnic.
one for the weekend. Go, done.
That's nice. It's a cute day, Tim.
Yeah, if it's sunny, go for a picnic this weekend and send us a photo of it. Great.
And if it's not sunny, just have lunch at home.
have lunch at home. Send a photo of your lunch.
Send a photo of your lunch. Right, so we've got National Picnic Day. Tim, I've got a couple of things I want to talk to you about.
Yeah.
2 things from my side. Unless you'd rather go in and do one of our regular sections, it's totally up to you.
Sorry, I've just remembered I wanted to add something to the running order.
Hey, it's your edit. This might make it. Who knows?
There.
I don't have the running order in front of me, so.
Oh, can we talk about the bullshit flight with Katy Perry on it?
She's an astronaut.
Yeah.
She spent 11 minutes in space, Tim, funded by Jeff Bezos' millions.
Yeah.
They came down to Earth, and she was asked in an interview, or she was said in an interview, "Congratulations, you're officially an astronaut."
She wasn't. She got an Uber to space.
I cut my elbow the other day and put a plaster on it, so I'm officially a surgeon.
You're a medic now. I saw someone, it was one of the other passengers on this thing, being like, oh, but when men go up and do this thing, they're considered astronauts. The difference there is that the men who are going up and doing this thing are actually manning the ship. They're operating things. They're not just sat at the back taking selfies.
But the thing is, I think it's a really cool thing, like to have an all-female crew
Totally.
go up there and experience space. What I don't think is cool that is rather than it being this big thing, it's manned by people like Katy Perry who show up on the day and go to space for 11 minutes and then catch all the headlines over people that actually do the work and people that actually put the hours in and train and make it their life's work to become an astronaut. So actually what we have is interviews with Katy Perry, and I can't remember who the interview with the other person was, but apparently when they got to fucking space, Katy Perry sang to these 11 women, and I believe she sang "What a Wonderful World." Can you imagine how fucking awkward that would be?
It would be terrible.
But yeah, I think it's a bit of an insult to people who actually have dedicated their life to it. I don't know.
It feels very tone deaf, and then for Katy Perry to come out with a flower and kiss the ground and go, "I love the Earth," despite the millions of tons of carbon damage that she's done to the planet.
Well, I don't know that you can hold that. You know, you probably can say like you could have offset that a bit, or maybe going to space using loads of fossil fuels wasn't the best idea for that. But at the end of the day, if you were given the same opportunity, Tim, would you have taken it? Would you have experienced space?
Probably, but I also wouldn't claim to be an astronaut.
Well, she didn't, to be fair. The journalist interviewing her claimed she was an astronaut. I thought it was really cool until someone said that it was funded by Jeff Bezos. And then I just kind of lost all interest. Someone told me it was Jeff Bezos and automatically assumed it was Elon Musk. So that kind of just tells you about the homogenous white dickhead billionaires that I kind of see in the world.
Did you see that someone phoned into Good Morning Britain and was complaining about how the ship was phallic shaped? And the presenter was just like, "Well, they're designed to be as aerodynamic and streamlined as possible." She was like, "Well, it didn't need to look like that."
No, it didn't. It was the veins on the balls that did it.
Yeah, it was the fact that they were flopping around, which was also a bit weird.
Tim, so I want to talk to you about WrestleMania 41.
Yes, this was over the weekend.
It was over the weekend. Two things. I'm not mad on it being over 2 nights. I quite liked when we were growing up. We watched wrestling. Actually, it's quite easy to say when, because we got into it around WrestleMania 20, so 21 years ago. It was one night, and it was like 7 hours, so it was quite long. But 2 4-hour shows, it takes a whole weekend to watch.
I mean, it's totally there just for ticket sales more than anything.
Well, of course it is, but I don't want to talk to you about the wrestling, Tim. I want to talk to you about Stone Cold Steve Austin, who was a wrestler.
Yeah.
He showed up right before the main event in his usual badass fashion. His music hit.
The last thing I saw him
playing. Hold on. It kept playing. And he kept playing, and then all of a sudden he arrived on a quad bike.
Oh! And
he stood on the quad bike at the top of the ramp, gave the middle fingers like he always does, like that. Ooh, he's Stone Cold. And then he drove around the ring twice and crashed into the wall and hit someone with the quad bike.
Was it someone who was in on the show, or was it just like a fan?
No, it was a fan.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I also read, and I'm not sure about the validity of this, the fan who got hit by the ATV, do you know how much their ticket would have cost?
How much?
$20,000.
Oh!
Can you imagine paying $20,000 to be run over by Stone Cold Steve Austin?
See, it all sounds bad until you add that little just flick at the end of by Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah, actually, if I paid $20,000, I would expect to be run over and kissed by Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I want mouth to mouth from Stone Cold Steve Austin.
And he'll do it, and then when you're breathing again, he'll go, "Let me get a hell yeah."
Yeah. Crack a beer in your mouth.
When I said his music hit and it kept playing and eventually showed up on an ATV, there's footage as to why that was. The crash into the barrier where he hit a fan was actually the second time he crashed the ATV on the night. The first one was trying to get up the ramp into the main stage. It was a bit of a shit show. But I mean, I've watched a fair amount of it, and I'm not going to sit here and talk about wrestling. If you want a full podcast on WrestleMania 41, I thoroughly recommend Talking Smack. Their episode last Wednesday was a primer for the WrestleMania 41 card. It was really, really good. They had Josh, Alex, and a guest called He-Man Star Fox, who's really knowledgeable about wrestling. But it was a really, really good episode. I'm not going to profess to be anything other than someone who watches it every now and then now that it's on Netflix. But what I have seen is quite good.
Huh.
There you go.
Great.
The
other thing I wanted to bring up, and I don't know if you want to go to like a regular section. I can bring up this news article that I was sent.
No, go for it.
All right, great. So the article I've been sent by Payne was passengers stranded after being let off train for fresh air. Right?
Okay, cool. You have piqued my interest, sir.
Train passengers were left distressed and confused when a driver of a packed train encouraged them to get off at a station for some fresh air, only to leave without them.
Oh.
Trevor Greenfield, 72, and his wife Eileen, 68, were among the group of 8 passengers who were stranded at Swindon, having boarded the train from London Paddington to Carmarthen. People were distressed, confused, flabbergasted, yada, yada, yada. Essentially, it was an unscheduled stop at Swindon. The first article I found had a map showing you the full journey. It's a really long way.
Okay. Well, Carmarthen is Scotland, right?
Wales.
Okay.
Wales. Yeah, it's like it was like West Coast Wales. Okay. So they're going from Paddington to the West Coast of Wales, and at about 5:30, they were sat on this train for about 15 minutes with 10 other people, baking hot, absolutely baking, and after about 15 minutes, the announcement came on the thing being like, "Go outside, get some fresh air," and that was at 5:30. They step out. They're getting some lovely fresh air. At 5:31, no announcement. The door just closed and the train left.
Oh, you'd be pissed because your stuff would be on there as well.
Of course it would. And they've already travelled a really long way, and now they're just stuck in fucking Swindon.
There is no worse place to be stuck either.
Great Western Railway has issued a formal apology to them.
Did the apology say, "Get wrecked"?
Wow, it's like the most corporate apology. I'm just reading here, but there is one thing that says one person added that had his work colleague not got back on the train before it pulled away, he could have lost £4,000 worth of work tools.
Jesus Christ,
which is a lot.
So how many people were we talking were stranded? 8?
10. No, 8 people. Sorry, and there was 10 people on the train total.
Wow, you'd be so pissed off.
Yeah.
And can you imagine them coming round afterwards going, "Can I see your tickets, please?" You'd be like, "Fuck off." Yeah.
That's amazing.
Bad.
I got told about the Magic Roundabout in Swindon. Have you seen this?
The Magic Roundabout is one roundabout that is surrounded by, is it 7 or 8 other roundabouts?
5 other roundabouts.
Oh, so it's less than I thought. I feel like it's one of those things where people will say how awful it is if they've driven it once, but if you drive it 2 or 3 times, it'll just make sense.
It probably is.
It doesn't make sense because you could just have one big roundabout, but 5 exits on a very major road is quite difficult.
Well, the thing that blows my mind about the Magic Roundabout is that the like with all traffic islands in the UK, all roundabouts in the UK, you drive clockwise on them, and that is the case for the 5 external roundabouts, but you drive anti-clockwise on the internal one. Yeah,
that sounds horrendous.
I ain't driving through Swindon. Balls to that.
I mean, you couldn't pay me to drive to Swindon, so. But yeah, if I did, I would not go on this illustrious roundabout of joy and sadness. Tim, the 2 things I want to talk to you about. The Last of Us season 2 has started.
Not seen it yet.
Ooh, okay. There's 2 episodes out.
Okay.
Are you going to watch it bit by bit, or are you going to?
I'll bit by bit it. Like,
Okay,
I
good.
really enjoyed having a serial to watch last time it was airing.
Serial.
Serial.
Are you super serial?
I'm super serial. But how is the new season so far? Good?
So I've watched the first episode. The second episode is queued and waiting for me to watch. Have you played the game, or do you know? Let's stay spoiler free here.
Yeah.
Do you know what happens in The Last of Us 2?
I know one major point.
I
in
think
The
you
Last
know
of Us.
the major point from the very start of the game, right?
Mhm.
That doesn't happen in the first episode, as you might have expected it to.
Sure.
Or maybe that is a spoiler. I don't know. Maybe it's a
That's fine.
cryptic one, but it is a spoiler. That doesn't happen, but I suspect it will happen soon. I'm really interested to see how they do this, but I saw stuff online slating Bella Ramsey as Ellie, which I don't really get because she was fantastic in the first series.
Yeah.
But I'm really interested to see how they do this because The Last of Us 1, the game, was done very sequentially. And it followed the story of Joel and Ellie from meeting to the Fireflies. The Last of Us 2 is done following the characters, and the major plot points are played through flashbacks. So it's a bit all over the place in terms of the sequencing of the storytelling. So I don't know how they're going to tackle it, whether they're just going to put it out in a straight timeline, and that might work. But I'm looking forward to seeing how they do it anyway.
I found out that The Bear season 4 is set to air in June, and I want to do a rewatch before I get there.
I don't think I could. It would stress me out too much.
I want to be stressed by proxy.
Just watch Five Fishes over and over again. You know, like Clockwork Orange, where they toothpick his eyes open.
Yeah.
Just do that with the Five Fishes episode.
And the pre-order episode.
No, just Five Fishes on loop. You'd be so stressed. It'd be awful. Tim, the other thing I think we wanted to talk about was Switch 2.
Oh, right, yeah. Did we not talk
Feels
about
like
this?
No, it dropped the week that we finished season 9. So I think it's might feel a bit like old news now, but the Switch 2 was announced, and some people are, including yourself, are quite excited for it. Is that fair to say?
I keep going back and forth between being excited and being incredibly cynical about it.
Right. I am definitely the latter. I think that obviously the From Software game looks quite good, but it's definitely I don't think it looks as good as other FromSoft games. I think it looks a bit like a fan make of Bloodborne.
Well, to me, what it looks like is obviously Sony own the IP for Bloodborne.
Yeah.
So, like Hidetaka Miyazaki and the FromSoft team have been like, we want to make another Bloodborne, but it's up to Sony.
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo seemed to have taken that idea and been like, why don't you just make a legally distinct enough version of Bloodborne? They're like, great.
But it doesn't look like that, though. It looks like a fan-made version of Bloodborne. To me, it doesn't seem like it's enough in the same realm as Bloodborne because of all like the character transformation stuff, which I found it really hard to get on board with. I don't know. It seems it. And this is going to sound scathing, and I guess it kind of is in a way. It looks like an absolutely Nintendo-ified FromSoft game. And if you know what I mean by that, it's kind of boosting up the family appeal of it and boosting up the more childish aspects of it. Like there's a clip in it where you see the moon, and the moon has a face, and it looks just like the face in Majora's Mask. And I kind of thought it looks like a bit like a kid's version of Bloodborne.
I'm excited for it. From what I've heard, it's going to play similarly to that of Night Rain. How people are speculating that, I don't know, considering Night Rain isn't fucking out yet.
Well, but the playtests have been out, so people have played it. I missed the playtests. I'm really looking forward to Night Rain, by the way. I think bringing that into the Elden Ring universe is a really cool,
smart move.
Cool move.
But apparently, it's from what people have said, it's going to play similar to that of Night Rain. And I don't know if I'm entirely on board with that, but
Yeah.
I would. It's the one game on Switch that I'm just like, right, that I want to play.
Are you
Like,
going to
Mario-
get one?
If eventually, but I'm not going to be a day one kind of guy with the Switch 2.
Okay. I know someone who listens to this who is a day one kind of person with the Switch 2. And I said to them, and I said to you, like, I'm really cynical of the Switch. I'm not. This isn't a mark against Nintendo for me, but I don't feel like I am their demographic. I feel like the Switch 2 has kind of changed its marketing a little bit to be a bit more mature than the Switch 1, but I still feel like it's like teens, and that just does not appeal to me. So I am cynical because of my experience with the Switch, which, you know, as a console works, but as a piece of hardware, I've had to replace, I would say, 3/4 of what I had on the Switch to make it still work.
At that point, can you call it the Switch that you had?
Well, yeah. I mean, I've replaced both Joy-Cons, the port, the charging port, the screen, and I just the Switch 2 looks like it's made for an ideal scenario and not the real world. It looks quite flimsy to me. So that's my cynicism. I also am not mad on the pricing of the games. I think that's a bit shitty.
So I know Mario Kart 8 is the only game confirmed to be $80.
It won't be, because the second that you start one and it sells well, it'll be an industry standard. Think about Xbox and paying for online content like that. It'll become the industry standard. I like I said to the person who is the day one, excuse me, I sincerely hope that the Switch 2 is a success, and everyone that gets one has a really great time and they really love their new console and it gives them everything they want and all the games are really good on it. I just don't think it's for me, and the cynical part of me doesn't see it going as well as a lot of people seem to think it might.
Sure. I mean, there's a couple of games that I'm not going to say I would get a Switch 2 for, but I know that I would have a better experience on the Switch 2 with it. So, for example, Pokemon Legends ZA.
Well, that's the game that the person who's day one-ing it has bought it for.
So I'm going to get it on the Switch 1. I think I'm going to be perfectly fine with my version of the game. Yes, the Switch 2 one will probably look and run better, but for the sake of not paying £470 to play this thing, when I can get a comparable experience on the hardware I already have, it doesn't make sense for me to get right now. The only one that really stands out to me as I want to play that is Duskblood, the FromSoft game. But that we don't have a release date for that yet. So
I don't think it's going to be on launch.
No, of course not. And until we get a release date for that, I'm not buying it. Just it's that straightforward. And I'm not saying I will only get it for Duskblood. Of course I'm going to get other games for it. But right now, Duskblood is the appeal for me.
Yeah. I mean, just going back to the pricing, I was really surprised to see. So $80. We're doing dollars because I don't know if it's been announced in pounds yet. Yeah, $80 for Mario Kart, the digital version, whereas the physical version is $90. Now, I've said for a long time that I think digital versions should be cheaper because there's less production involved, and it doesn't tend to be the case upon release. Digital and physical copies are normally the same. I quite like a physical copy, although we've run out of space for that kind of thing, so I normally get digital now. However, what Nintendo have said is their physical copies, when you pop the cartridge in to the Switch 2, all that it is an access key.
Depends on the cartridge. So, for example, Cyberpunk, that is entirely on cartridge. But Elden Ring...
Really?
Yeah, Cyberpunk is entirely on cartridge, but Elden Ring is a download code.
Wow. But I think having a cartridge as a download code and charging $10 more is a shitty move.
It's a shitty practice, for sure.
But they can get away with it, so people will pay it, so they'll do it.
I also think it's shitty to charge $10 for what is effectively a game manual, and also charge $10 for Breath of the Wild now with Google Maps built in.
I would say that the game manual also, not every game comes with a manual, so it'll be $10 for a box and a piece of plastic with a download code.
Yep.
Whereas actually, if it's like Cyberpunk, I didn't know Cyberpunk was all on cartridge. That's pretty cool.
That's impressive.
It's really impressive. I don't think $10 is a terrible thing for that, because if you are a non-internet based person, you might want to have it on the go. And actually, I found with the Switch, games that I downloaded when I was offline sometimes wouldn't play.
Oh.
So Football Manager was a good example. It wouldn't work unless I was online. So if I had a cartridge that was a download code and it didn't work offline, I would be fuming.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I want to say about the Switch.
Yeah, I mean,
I hope it works. I really do.
I wish it all success, but I keep going back and forth between this thing looks cool and then just waves of, okay, but this is a shitty thing that Nintendo have done, and also it's not entirely download friendly, and it's expensive. What
I've seen is a lot of the people really praising the Switch have been the same people that really criticized Astro Bot Playroom winning Game of the Year, which I think is mental. Like, it's too niche, well, not niche, but too a game and a console that know their demographic and really aim towards that demographic. They aim for maybe younger audience, easy playability, pick up and play. So I don't understand why I've seen so many people who were really passionately pissed off that Astrobot's Playroom. Yeah, Astrobot's Playroom won Game of the Year?
Astrobot, yeah.
Astrobot won Game of the Year, and the Switch too. They are really in favour of.
I don't know.
Doesn't make any sense to me. But yeah. Tim, let's do something regular. Would you rather do jokes or history?
I mean, history, I want to try something different, so I guess we can just knock that one on the head.
Oh.
History. History. What we're doing this week for Weird History, I've got 5 to 6 little snippets, little stories, no more than a couple of paragraphs each. And if the audience would like to know more about them, let me know, and I'll do a full one on it, because I ran out of time for preparation this week. Okay. But consider this like a little sample session. So the first one, Joey. 1920, President Paul Deschanel of France fell through the window of a train while passing on the Orient Express. He stumbled up to the nearest signal box in his pajamas and told the signalman that he needed help and that he was the president of France. The signalman responded, "And I'm Napoleon Bonaparte."
What?
The signalman was just like, "I'm Napoleon Bonaparte if you're the president of France."
And then the guy died.
I assume so.
Oh.
That's
cool.
one.
Cool.
Neat. One here that I've just found that says Operation Mincemeat.
Ah, okay. So I know a little bit about Operation Mincemeat.
What do you know?
Very little. I know it because another podcasting friend of ours that definitely isn't the lovely Dan from Casting Views, definitely isn't. You should listen to Casting Views. Spoke to me about potentially doing an episode on it.
We'll consider this a little teaser. In World War II, the British found bodies of just unfortunate soldiers that had passed away, dressed them up like British officers, attached fake intel to them, and then pushed them out into the ocean, hoping it floated to enemy territory in order to mislead them. It worked on multiple occasions.
Nice.
Yeah.
I actually think that would be a really good Weird History.
All right, cool. We might run with that. Peter the Great was obsessed with turning Russia into a European superpower, and all the Europeans had boats. So to launch a fleet, he'd need a port that didn't freeze over during a mild Russian afternoon winter. And the nearest one would be the Baltic Sea. He then proceeded to attack Sweden, capture an unnotable lowland area in the Baltic Sea, and build a city from scratch on a mound of the workers' corpses, and made it Russia's capital a decade before the war ended. And so Moscow was born.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Now that I would like to hear more about, Tim.
That's an interesting one. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
During an Olympic gladiatorial event in Rome, everything was going as planned, or normally rather, and the two combatants fought until one eventually slayed the other. Upon striking down his foe, he then the winner then conceded the fight before he was declared the victor, making this the only moment in history that someone has won an Olympic event while being dead.
I really like, and the listener might have picked it up. You used quote marks in there, and you just didn't break your stride. You just blah 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 winner, blah, 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 which I really thought was good.
And then the last one,
way to diminish an Olympian, Tim.
He conceded and the other guy was dead. What do you want? The other one, I have wanted to do a weird history on this one before. Andrew Jackson, president, and his cheese party.
Okay.
There's a few different versions of this story. Some say it was an accident, others say it was a deliberate because of his hatred of Martin Van Buren. But either way, farmers gifted Jackson a giant block of cheese, so Jackson hosted a cheese party to get rid of it. Unfortunately, a lot of the cheese had gone bad, and a block ended up, even though a block ended up being eaten, a lot of it still stunk out Washington, D.C. for blocks and blocks and blocks surrounding the White House.
Wow.
When Van Buren took office, he couldn't move in for the first few weeks because the entire White House had to be cleaned to get the smell out, and allegedly the cheese had been ground into the carpets and furniture. Alternatively, the other alternative version of this story is that Jackson hosted an inaugural party at the White House, and it got so overcrowded that he had to jump out and escape via a window. He also beat a would-be assassin nearly to death after the assassin's gun misfired. A few senators had to pull Jackson off of the guy. Long story short, Jackson, weird dude with a lot of weird history to him.
Weird dude. I like it.
Yeah. So if the audience wants to let us know which one they want to hear more of,
you're gonna have to put up a poll, Tim.
I'll try to remember.
Yeah, try to remember. Can I put my vote in now?
Yeah.
Operation Mincemeat.
Operation Mincemeat. All right. Yeah. Put it on the board.
Put it on the board. Tim, I've got one for you.
Yeah.
Not a weird history. Something else.
Renner up from the back. El Mahoney right foot. Whips it. Oh, jeez, he beats, man.
Now Sam Maxima might have a chance to run and does. Can he play a colleague through? It's Jacob Murphy. Released. Murphy 1-on-1. Jacob Murphy to win it. Oh, Jeff Bolin in the net! Oh, O'Connell's mistake. McGinn.
And of course, I love this game!
Tim, I love this game. You love this game. Payne's family don't love this game right now. What I do enjoy is in the jingle there we have the Newcastle fan shouting, "Oh, just put it in the net, man," at Newcastle, and a Villa celebration. So, very reminiscent of the weekend just gone. Tim, I want to tell you about a man who I shouldn't but do have immense respect for.
Okay.
The man is called Jan Schmidt.
Sure.
Tim, what do you think is the most thankless job in all of football?
Thankless job?
The referee, surely.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, they're going to get a lot of hate.
They are. Either way, you can't win as a referee.
No.
Jan Schmidt was a referee who, was doing semi-professional level of referee, so a good standard in the Dutch 4th division. He was 61 years old, and this story took place May 14th, 2024.
Oh, so last year.
Last year. So the game was between two teams in the 4th division of Dutch football, St. George versus SV De Valken. Shall I try that again? SV De Valken. And this game was actually to decide who would be promoted to the 3rd tier of Dutch football. So, as you can imagine, eyes and ears all across the world were watching. Now, Tim, what do you think Jan Schmidt did in this game that would mean that I would come to you with a I love this game story? I'm going to give you 2 guesses.
I'm going to say gave a red card to a coach.
That's quite common. So
Really?
Yeah. So if like a good example is the West Bromwich Albion coach, I think it was last year, kicked the ball while it was still in play. So he interrupted the field of play, so he got sent off. Managers get sent off all the time. Coaches and managers all the time.
Huh.
Any other guesses?
Sent off a commentator.
No. So there is some red cards in here. So it's not what he did during the game that really draws me to this, but let me give you a bit of context. Deep into injury time, St. George goalkeeper Dave Lan scored the winning goal deep into injury time. So that is the time added on. So deep, it was 15 minutes of extra play.
Bloody hell.
On top of that, Jan Schmidt had sent off 3 of the SV Dan Valken players for very little reason. So they were playing with 8 men. Now, if you were a paranoid football fan, what would you be thinking here, Tim? Because I would be thinking corruption.
Yeah, there's going to be like some sort of rigging or something.
Jan Schmidt did not help himself with these with these allegations when, during the celebration of St. George, the referee got on the stage, sang their victory song with them, and lifted the trophy.
What?
There's another layer of this which I really enjoy, that he was wearing a shirt that was just covered in marijuana leaves. The 61-year-old referee was banned for life for refereeing in the Dutch leagues. And he said, "I do not agree with the decision. I only sang the song and held up the bowl once. That's all. I find it too sad for words."
Sake, okay.
So
like, I'm not even a football fan, and I know that's like at least a little problematic.
Yeah, I don't think officials should be joining in the celebrations, but you know, like I said, I shouldn't have respect for him. I really do respect it. It's so brazenly mental. I enjoy it a lot.
What was the one you were telling me about a little while ago where it was a pundit or something was like, I don't have a bias against Barcelona, and then like the parrot.
Oh, no. So that was that I think I did that on I Love This Game.
Yeah,
that was a referee or the head of the Referees Association saying, I don't have a bias against Barcelona or any teams in the Spanish division. And then his parrot sang the Hala Madrid anthem, which is the anthem of Barcelona's main rivals. He'd also trained the parrot every time he heard the word Barcelona to say the word bastard. So make of that what you will, Tim.
That's amazing.
Make of that what you will. Now let's move into jokes.
That's pretty funny, to be fair. That joke was weak. I misread that as that's the joke of the week.
Welcome to our joke of the week section, Tim. Never ever rusty there with that trumpet.
No.
We are going to tell each other jokes, one-liners, to get the other person to laugh. And if the other person laughs, the section will be over, and that will be deemed our joke of the week. Tim, I know you have 14 jokes this week.
Damn right.
I have 8, so you should go first.
Yeah, and Payne has sourced these jokes for me because we were driving home from Newcastle today.
Nice.
Great. So, I've got some topical, some not. I'll start with the topical one. When Jesus came out of the tomb, people were amazed by his style. Some people even exclaimed, "He is risen."
He was risen.
He was risen.
Good. I like that one. That's good. Tim, what's the difference between a garbanzo bean and a chickpea?
I know this one, yep.
I've never asked a garbanzo bean on my face.
Yeah. How do cows avoid detection?
They move slowly.
I like that a lot, but they use a combination of cowhide and camouflage.
That's good. That's one that you'd see on a penguin.
Or a cow, if you like.
Or a cow. You might need to cut this one, Tim. Where does a terrorist go when he dies?
Oh, where? Great.
Yeah, cut that one.
Sure. What's the medical name for Viagra?
Don't know.
My cocks are flopping.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I actually have a Viagra one next as well, so we're on a theme here. I just found out my uncle is addicted to Viagra. No one's taking it harder than me.
Okay. I thought it was going to be... I knew the no one's taking it harder than part, but I thought it was going to be the aunt. That's fine. How did Jesus feel after he was betrayed by Judas?
Oh, probably bad.
He was cross.
He bloody was as well. Quite famous.
Bloody cross.
Tim, what's worse than ants in your pants?
What?
Uncles.
Nearly. Very, very nearly. Very, very nearly. My wife took it really hard when I told her that I didn't want kids, but not as hard as my 4 and 6-year-olds.
Oh, that's good. Quite sad, but good.
Yeah.
I asked my wife if... We're really weirdly in sync with these jokes, Tim.
We are.
I asked my wife if I was the only one that she'd been with. She said, yeah. All the others were 8s or 9s or 10s.
Okay. All right.
Good.
I celebrated Good Friday the traditional way this year. I went to court before being nailed by an Italian.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
You just step back from your mic just a little bit.
Oh, sorry. I'm reading.
Circumcision really hurts, Tim.
Mm.
I had it done as a newborn and I couldn't walk for like 18 months.
Sounds pretty painful.
Mm.
Engineers have invented a car that runs on parsley, and now they're experimenting with trains that run on time.
Good experiment.
Very good experiment.
About bloody time as well. Hey, you could do that when it gets to the station. About bloody time.
About bloody time. Except for those passengers who are abandoned at Swindon.
Very good. Starting your day with a funeral is really difficult if you're not a morning person.
Morning. Right.
Morning.
Got it. My dog is a rescue, which is a really self-righteous way of saying I bought a used dog.
That's really sad.
Oh.
I burnt my Hawaiian pizza. Should have set the oven to a lower temperature.
Aloha temperature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my last one, so I'm out.
What's a pirate's favorite type of food?
I don't know.
Barbecue. Yeah.
I could have come up with anything, but you missed a B at the start, so
That's the point of the joke.
bad.
Oh. I just spent 50 quid on a belt that doesn't fit. What a huge waste.
Oh, that's so sad.
Someone stole my antidepressants, whoever they are. I hope they're happy.
I hope they are too.
Yeah. Why do ducks have bills?
I don't know.
Because of household consumption, like utilities and gas and electric and water.
Such a twat.
That one, really?
I really wish that didn't get me, but it did. Well done.
That's pretty funny, to be fair. That joke was weak. I misread that as that's the joke of the week.
Tim, joke of the week, please.
Why do ducks have bills? Because of their household consumption utilities such as gas, electric, and water.
Really wish that didn't get me. Tim, there is one more thing I wanted to tell you about.
Yeah.
And then I'll let you get on with your day. So Jenny and I, my wife, for those who are just tuning in, is Jenny. Jenny and I have been looking at changing a few things in the house, some furniture here and there.
Got a new couch on the way, haven't you?
We've got it downstairs.
Oh, great.
So what we used to have on the downstairs wall was loads of family photos, all in mismatched frames. It was like artfully mismatched, but we didn't really like the way it looked. So what we've done is we put up a couple of shelves. And on these couple of shelves, we thought maybe we want something like nicer frames rather than just going for mismatched. So we went and went to a charity shop and we saw these really nice frames and we bought them. And in one of the frames, we thought was a placeholder, like a frame filler. And it was a picture of a dog. When we got it home, on the back of the frame, it said, to so-and-so, in loving memory of Mitzi, 1999.
Oh.
So what we've done is bought a picture of someone's dead dog from 26 years ago. And I'm having this back and forth with my wife as to whether we keep the picture of Mitzi because it's sad to get rid of the picture of the dead dog, or we get rid of it and use the frame as we intended in the first place. Now, Tim, unfortunately, you agree with Jenny, and now in our living room we have a picture of a dead dog from 26 years ago called Mitzi that is too sad to put away and too sad to take the photo out of. So the problem I have is it's done and it's professionally sealed at the back. So if we were to change the photo in the frame, Tim, I'd have to cut out the loving memory of to so-and-so in memory of Mitzi, 1999. So if ever you come to my house and you see a picture of a dog that you don't recognize in a frame on a shelf, like predominantly placed in our living room, there is pictures of Jenny and I on our wedding day, one of our son as a baby, one of our very alive and our dog Pepsi, and then this weird drawing of Mitzi the dead dog on our shelf at home. So I was really hoping you'd be on my side and I could tell Jenny that you agree with me, but apparently
I'm on team dead dog.
You're in favour of having the dead dog. There, that's my story. I'm sadly not backed up by my own flesh and blood. Yeah.
Soz.
Right, Tim, anything else you want to talk about before we get the fuck out of here?
No, I mean, it's just been a busy couple of weeks. Hence no 2BFB last week.
No 2BFB last week. And I was ill, so.
You were ill. Amazingly, Alex and I, and I think you're in the conversation as well. We were talking about Podmas already.
Yeah, we are talking about Podmas already, 4 months into the year. The right time to start talking about it, to be fair.
About Christmas stuff, yeah.
Yeah. Especially if we're planning to do something similar to last year, which we're not 100% sold on.
I would like to. Just because
I would too. I would too, because it looks good on our analytics when we promote ourselves to people who want to give us review copies of games.
Yeah.
But yes, Podmas 2025.
We got given a key to a game that I'm particularly excited about.
You can say what it is. I think it's out, isn't it?
It is already out. Yeah. It's BlazBlue Entropy Effect. It's BlazBlue is a fighting game series that I love, and Entropy Effect is a platforming roguelike set in the same universe.
That's fun.
Fun.
That sounds fun. Any idea when that DLC will come out?
I'm going to try and put some time into it this week, so I'm hoping it'll be out at some point next week.
When you fucking played the game.
Well, yeah, pretty much. I've just not had time.
Yeah, no, I mean, you haven't been at home, so that kind of makes sense. Right, well, Tim, in that case, just shout someone out. Anyone. Doesn't need to be anyone in our Discord. Anyone random. Shout out to you, Mike.
Yeah. What up, Mike?
What up, Mike? You bastard. you Rizzler. Yeah. Tim, anything you want to say to the listeners?
Pub quiz question of the week.
Oh, shit. Yeah, well done.
Let me find the question because I'm
Marie Antoinette.
Not Marie Antoinette. Again, the question was...
Florence Nightingale.
No. Where the fuck is my question? There it is. Who was the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean in 1932?
No, name isn't coming to me.
No? Okay.
It's really going to annoy me.
You are going to kick yourself. It's Amelia Earhart.
Oh, I fucking knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah, is the answer Amelia Earhart?
Yeah, it is. Amazing.
Get in there.
This guy with his Wikipedia brain.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's it. Tim, anything else you want to say?
Runs on donations.
I very much do run on donations, so let's keep them coming, folks.
And to our Twitch.
Subscribe, please. I haven't eaten in weeks. Tim, I'll see you next week for Two Blokes from Blighty. Actually, well, I mean, I'll see you. We've got an episode out Monday. That's us, right? I can't remember what the fuck it is. Oh, it's cutscenes.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yep.
Get ready for a movie that we all really loved.
Absolutely loved it.
Right,
Tim. My all.
Tim, I will see you next week. Two Blokes from Blighty, and audience. Tim, what do you want to say?
Take that.
I'm sorry. Before I finish, Jenny can obviously hear me because I'm gobby, and she's just texted me, "Stop slandering Mitzi, the dead dog."
Tell Jenny I'm on her side.
Jenny, Tim's on your side. So there you go. Right. Take that, you bastards, and we'll see you in a week's time.
See you in a week.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.